government cuts mobile internet access amid deadly rioting.
We've got details of all these stories, plus many more coming up in the next 60 minutes. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. You can join us with your views, comments, and suggestions on any of our top stories this hour. Let us know what you make of any of our headline stories on Twitter or on Facebook.
Let's settle for the details. Now, leadership of the caterers under the school feeding program will hold a crunch meeting on Monday, June 5 to deliberate on whether or not to call off the nationwide industrial action. This comes after the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection assured to clear all arrears owed the caterers by next week.
Caterers under the school feeding program declared a nationwide strike following government's failure to pay them their arrears and increase the amount per child. The aggrieved caterers drawn from the various regions across the country converged in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, stressed that laying down their tools is the only option available to them now. They say until government agrees to pay them 3 cedis 50 pesos per child, they won't call off their strike.
We cannot go and borrow to come and cook for the children for free. We are fed up. We want our money.
Caterers have become indebted to the traders and farmers we credited items from. We are ashamed because we owe so much.
However, a recent proposal from the Gender Ministry falls short of the expectation of the caterers.
In 2023, the cost per meal, per child, per day has been proposed as 1 cedi 20 pesos, and we are still in talks with the Ministry of Finance to see how best, if it can be reviewed, we will let you know.
According to the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Laribazuera Abudu, another concern of the caterers, which has to do with the payment of arrears owed them, will be addressed by next week.
Delay in payment is true. 30,860 something is huge. So when the document is very voluminous, you need to take time. And this people's money, you need to be very careful. She cooked this number of days, cross-check from the coordinator, cross-check from the head teacher, cross-check from the district ensemble before you say, okay, A has cooked. As at April 2023, the ministry, in collaboration with Finance, Ministry of Finance, paid for the first and second arrears of 2022 academic year. I want to give the assurance here that next week, caterers' arrears will be paid. We have done all the validation, we have done the auditing, and I want to ensure that the auditing and due diligence is done.
It remains to be seen whether or not the caterers will be returning to the kitchen to cook for the children after the 2-month-long strike. A total of 3,448,065 pupils in some basic schools currently benefit from the school feeding program.
While staying a while longer on this development, Dr. Clement Apak is Member of Parliament for Bilsa South and Deputy Ranking Member on the Education Committee. Good evening, Dr. Apak, and thank you for joining us. First of all, you heard the school caterers. They are saying that they are fed up and they are almost 2 months arrears owed them hasn't been paid. Would you say that government has shown any commitment?
Well, if you can hear me, let me say good evening to you and good evening to viewers. And to indicate that I entirely side with the school feeding caterers. The conditions in which they have been trusted to are abominable and unacceptable. To think that for the 2023 budget year, the government allocated and Parliament approved 959 million for the school feeding program, and yet government owes the caterers and is failing to even meet the minimum requirement to provide a nutritious hot meal per day, cannot be tolerated. And you see, Asha, I say so because if you were to look at the staff level agreement between the government of Ghana and the IMF, which has brought about the decision by the IMF to give us a bailout. If you go to page 11, it is indicated that government has increased the allocation to the school feeding program to offset the effects of inflation. So if government has conveyed to the IMF that it has increased the allocation to the school feeding program to offset the effect of inflation, why is government failing to agree that the minimum required to provide a decent and nutritious hot meal per day should be 3 cedis, 50 pesos? So all these are questions that we ought to be asking government.
Well, the gender minister, Larry Bazuera, she is saying that by next week, every arrears will be paid. That should be good news, especially for the kids who were left hungry for 4 weeks.
Well, it is not entirely good news. And I believe that is why the school feeding caterers are not jubilant. They are not enthused. They are not celebrating the announcement made by the school feeding caterer. First of all, the arrears are still outstanding. Many of them took loans. Some of them took these food items on credit. And it is not just the principal that they have to pay. They have to pay interest. Now, remember that their demands were twofold: to pay all outstanding arrears and to increase the feeding fee per child from the current 97 pesos per day per child to a very minimum of 3 cedis, 50 pesos, to take care of the inflationary situation in which we find ourselves. So I don't think that we should be applauding government, because government is still lagging behind in doing the barest minimum to ensure that the caterers are able to dispense their responsibilities as we all expect them to.
She also said that the 3 cedis that the caterers are asking for as an increment is not possible, that they are looking at increasing it to 1 cedi 20 pesos, as against the 97 pesos that the children were getting per child. Isn't that also an increment that is good?
Asha, my simple answer is no. And you have to bear the school feeding caterers out. As we speak now, how much is the cost of an egg? I expect these women to buy fuels, whether charcoal or wood or LPG gas, and they are supposed to procure water. They are supposed to at least get 1 or 2 persons to assist them, and they are supposed to procure soap to clean dishes. In this system, you cannot tell me that the amount that is being proposed is even sufficient to feed a pet cat, let alone to feed our wards. Now remember, the school feeding program is supposed to provide a hot, nutritious meal, underlined, hot and nutritious. Can we say with certainty that in today's Ghana, with the current conditions, the amount that is being proposed is sufficient to provide a hot, nutritious meal per child per day? And if the answer is no, then we ought to be calling on government to augment what it is proposing. Because look, the IMF has made us aware that in spite of the fact that we have gone for a bailout, provision has been made to protect pro-poor policies, to protect social intervention policies. And it is obvious that the school feeding program is one of the most enduring and beneficial social intervention policies. So on what basis is government refusing to increase it to the 3 cedis 50 pesos? When in fact, government's own proposal to the IMF, which was a foundation for the agreement, says that government has increased the allocation for the school feeding program to offset inflation. So government should do what is needed to offset inflation.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Thank you very much for your time this evening. Dr. Clement Apaak is Member of Parliament for Bielsa South and a Deputy Ranking Member on the Education Committee in Parliament.
All right, thanks, Aisha. Let's go to do some other stories now. And the menace of child beggars on various streets in the country, according to the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Lariba Zuwaira Abudu, can be solved by refusing to give money to these beggars. The Gender Minister at a Meet the Press engagement in Accra noted the culture of giving among Ghanaians fuels the menace.
Child beggars on our street. It's true. We have done a lot. We have done some sweeps. We have gone out there with media to send them out, and they come from our neighboring country. We have engaged the embassies, some of the countries that we think they are coming from, Burkina Faso, Nigeria. We have engaged them, and even we repatriated some of them back, about 400 and something. And then they will go and find their way back. And then I always say, why should we give a child of school-going age money? It's business as usual. We also, as a country, should look at it. You know, if a child is 6 years and he's begging, why do you give the child money? If you don't give today, I don't give tomorrow. Somebody doesn't get 1 week, they don't get, they'll go back to school. So it's the culture, our culture of the way we give to these minors. That's why they're on the street. So we should look at it as a country, that you don't give a minor money. On what basis? So it's part of something that if we're able to collectively do in this country, it will solve the problem. You don't give, I don't give. 1 week, he doesn't get money, he goes back to school.
There's hope on the horizon. That's according to 2024 flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama. Speaking at the 44th anniversary of the June 4, 1979 uprising held at Hohoe in the Volta region, the former president was optimistic the National Democratic Congress will win the 2024 general elections, but called for hard work.
The choice of Hohoe for the 44th anniversary of the June 4, 1979 uprising was not a coincidence. The constituency is the only one in the Volta region which is held by the governing New Patriotic Party, with the National Democratic Congress eyeing to win all seats in the region in the 2024 general election. The choice of Hohoe for the event was a starting point. The event was attended by hundreds of NDC supporters and sympathizers. Member of Parliament for Koliklo, Zaneto Ajman Rawlings urged NDC followers to remain united.
It's somewhat ironic now that a form of amnesia has happened where people have forgotten the chronology of where we are today. That they behave as if we went from independence to the Fourth Republic. The mere fact that we are the Fourth Republic tells you that there have been several interruptions to our constitutional rule. However, the fact that this Fourth Republic has been the most enduring is a testament to what the principles represented. This is your legacy. Be proud of it. Do not allow anybody to shame you about your history. June 4th is your legacy, and that is what resulted in where we are today.
General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Fiabekwete, lauded the role of the late former President Jerry John Rawlings to Ghana's development.
The revolution was simply a trumpet that awoke us. An evolution which is a journey that we have day by day. An evolution that shows our love for country, our love for our communities, the transformation of this beautiful country, the emergence of people who are genuinely selfless, who love their country, who want to do what is right, who will abhor injustice, fight for the social justice of this country, and the true empowerment of our people. That is what the evolution is about.
2024 NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama called for unity and hard work to win the 2024 polls.
There should be sufficient basis to work towards a change that helps reset our country and build the Ghana we all want together. It must be a change that will afford you a shot at fulfilling your aspirations and realizing your dreams in your own country. As heirs of the revolution in the NDC, we have no choice but to offer dedicated leadership for this effort. We dare not fail.
He assured the public the NDC will work to tackle the economic mess created by the Akufo-Addo-led government.
We must set a new standard in governance so that Ghanaians will appreciate that we are not condemned as a people to live with this level of greed and impunity. I hear people say we must come to power and also exact our pound of flesh. But as the inheritors of the spirit of June 4th, I dare say we cannot become a copy of the MPP, or else Ghanaians would have lost all hope of salvation.
The 44th anniversary of the June 4, 1979 uprising was on the theme, Saving Our Democracy, the Spirit of the June 4th. On June 4, 1979, a group of military men led by Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings staged a mutiny against the then ruling junta. The uprising, they claimed, was necessitated by corruption and perceived bad governance by the then ruling military junta. June 4, 1979 was preceded by the abortive May 15, 1979 uprising, which was also led by Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings.
The revolution has come to stay.
And in crime this evening, the Intelligence Department of Cocoa Board, in collaboration with the Asamankese District Police Command, have arrested one person in connection with an alleged smuggling of 35 barrels of cocoa beans. My colleague Stanley Niblewa reports that the cocoa beans were packed in palm oil barrels to outsmart police during transportation.
Smugglers have devised several means to smuggle cocoa beans out of the country. The practice, according to officials from Cocoa Board, has been rampant in cocoa-growing regions. At Asamankese in the eastern region, the smugglers have resorted to packaging the cocoa beans into barrels to outweight officers. The enclave is noted for palm oil production, so barrels are used to hide the cocoa beans for onward transportation. Following a tip-off, Cocoa Board intelligence officers, with assistance from the police, raided the scene when the cocoa beans were about to be transported. The kingpin was alleged to have received a tip-off, and so he quickly informed his laborers, and they all fled the scene, abandoning the loaded barrels of cocoa beans. The truck and the cocoa beans were later towed to the Asamankese District Police Station. A barrel contains in excess of 2 bags of cocoa beans. The owner of the truck, who is also a resident of Asamankese, reported himself to the police the following day and was arrested. He was taken to the scene but denied that the presence of the truck was to load and transport the cocoa beans.
Twice we were here, somebody showed up that the truck belongs to him and that he had driven it to that location in the night and had a breakdown. Before he could bring the mechanic to attend to it, he couldn't find the truck. But that man is behind bars now. It will surprise you. Today we are here. Yesterday we were in Tepa. 3 days ago we were in Elubo. And last week we were in Aflau and Ho. And so the situation is getting out of hand.
Neighboring Togo and Ivory Coast are the destinations for cocoa smuggled from Ghana. The cocoa beans have been confiscated and transported to a Cocoa Board facility in Tema. The owner of the truck will be arraigned in court on Monday, June 5.
Elsewhere tonight, the Afienya-Apollonia Road is no longer motorable. The craters formed along parts of the stretch accumulate large volumes of water during the rainy season, hindering the movement of road users. My colleague Peter Kwao Adato has filed the following report.
The Afienya-Apollonia Road connects the Accra-Akonsombo Road and the Dodowa Road through the Kpong-Katamanso district. According to locals, The road could reduce some of the typically congested vehicular traffic between Afienya and the Ashaiman roundabout because it is a shortcut to Accra through Oyibi. However, the dreadful condition of the road forces everyone to remain glued and endure the unbearable traffic every day on the Akonsombo Road. The more than a kilometer section of the Afienya New Jerusalem Road is the worst part of the stretch. Craters formed along the entire stretch, preventing all vehicles except the heavy-duty trucks carrying construction materials from passing. Even just crossing the community from one end to the other is really challenging for the residents.
For about 2-3 days, the children will not be able to go to school. You cannot move from left to the right side of the road or from the right side to the left side of the road. And moreover, when there's an emergency, one of our neighbors died because he had pressure. And the nature of the road, before they got to the hospital, even to the junction, he passed away.
And when you try and drive through, you will damage your sump. This is a road that when this road is working all right, it will reduce most of the traffic. Those who are going to 37 Medina, they can also pass here.
All business operations are significantly impacted.
When you come and open shop, nobody will come and buy because the road is not good. People are not coming to site. Please, we are begging you people, you have been traveling outside and you see how that place is. Look at our road. And you say you are building cathedral for who? We are not animals, we are also human beings. At least think of us small. What is this?
This road's condition defies description. Every trip requires a visit to the mechanic and the high cost of replacement parts. My swift intervention saved the life of a pregnant woman who was in labor here a few weeks ago. Our demand to the government must be heard, and the road needs to be fixed immediately.
This motorist was making use of the highway for the first time. He was fortunate to have encountered Daniel Asante, who gave him directions on how to bypass the community and connect to the road in the Katamanso district.
If you can go straight, that's fine. Yeah. You turn to where the Naki pharmacy is here. We have a bypass over there. That will take you all the way to where the store is. Absolutely. Then you can continue.
This second driver was not lucky. Although he was weaving his way through, this was the extent of his fortitude. He was aided in his escape by the reverse gear, and he needed direction to locate a route through the neighborhood to reach the Kpong Katamanso district. The only vehicles that could navigate the stretch of road are trucks, even if it has negative consequences.
On May 25, a combined team of neurosurgeons and medical professionals conducted an awake surgery at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, guided by advanced technology. Today, we go behind the scenes to understand the history of awake surgery in Ghana and how the purchase of equipment by governments for the conjoined twins helped make the surgery a rare one.
Clement. Yes, sir. Any activities here?
When it comes to the situation in our country, which I personally want to emphasize my tribute to our first neurosurgeon, Dr. Mustafa. From anecdotal resources available, he is the first person to have attempted awake surgery in our country. And I must be very honest to you that working alone as a neurosurgeon in a country at the time, it was extremely, extremely difficult. And this man has brought us to where we are. And at that time, there were very limited resources.
The story on the awake brain surgery at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital generated buzz on social media. Today, I'm back at the hospital to follow up on the patient.
The patient will be discharged and he will be followed up on OPD basis. And he is very sound and well. And we thank God the Almighty for that.
There was a time that the world decided that they wanted to teach the people in the low and middle income countries how to do awake surgery to cut down that cost, because we didn't have those technology available as today to do awake surgery as neurosurgeons. So there was a cross study within Ghana, Nigeria, and other places. But the most important thing in those studies had to do with cutting down the cost in anesthesia, and we're doing it as low-income country. In our case, we started with using a 3D printed, which is extremely rare within our system. We now use ultrasound to do the nerve blockade, the local anesthesia on the head. And then together with that, use the ultrasound and the neuronavigation again to detect exactly where the tumor is, plus what we call transoperative neuromonitoring, where we do the brain mapping. These things did not exist in earlier times, at the time those things were done. And so for the first time, we have deployed this kind of technology in doing a very successful awake surgery, because what we did is the international standard.
Let's now delve deeper into how the surgery was conducted using latest technology, some only available in Ghana. It started with the 3D printing technique.
What we have here is a Formlabs from 3D printer. And what we use it to do is we use it to print the scan. So what you have there is just a 3D segmented scan of one of the cases that we did. And after we segmented it, we actually exported it to the system. And then when we were done, we actually had to print it out. So this would be your actual printout of what you are seeing there. Yes, so typically for this case, when it came in, we got the scans, we segmented the files, we brought them in here, and then we had to print it so that the lead surgeon will be able to now discuss with the patient and tell him exactly what is going to go on and how he's going to go about the surgery.
Thanks to the surgery of the conjoined twins, government purchase of advanced ultramodern equipment helped in their awake surgery, as the transoperative ultrasound was used in combination with neuronavigation.
What you see here is a neuronavigation system. Is the latest generation. We call that the S8 stealth system, and this is the only one we have in Ghana, and for that matter in West Africa. We have one of this in Angola and another one in Kenya. So this is very, very unique, and we are very glad that we've been able to provide something like this for the people of Ghana. So generally what using this equipment will do is that it gives much better results. What that does is that it really helps build the skills of our neurosurgeons. It also does a lot in moving in a lot of cases from the West Coast to Ghana. So that is health tourism. So it's our hope that we can have more investment in equipment like this to give better outcomes to patients.
The tumor spy agent was deployed to only stain the tumor under the ultramodern microscope.
It has color filters, actually, that helps you properly view the tumors or whatever you are trying to identify in the brain. So the moment you actually inject your fluorescent dye, you can actually select a filter, and then when you do, if you can look at the screen, it changes. So now with this, it's able to clearly, differentiate between the tumor and the actual live tissue or the healthy tissues surrounding the tumor.
It is the hope of the team that conducted the complex brain mapping awake surgery that the equipment will be available in major hospitals across the country to advance the course of neurosurgery.
The Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons have established the neurosurgery faculty for us to be able to train our own neurosurgeons. And I do believe that every neurosurgical center should have this kind of equipment to be able to do this kind of surgery, so that the accredited centers that will be training our neurosurgeons should have the feel of this.
One thing is evident, that the equipment brought in to separate the conjoined twins has saved a number of lives at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital.
Thanks to the conjoined twins, that brave decision we took as a team in Ghana of over 200 medical staff. Collaboration with the Focus Orthopedic Hospital, very, very important, that where we have the electrophysiologists who do the brain mapping, and that is how best we've been able to do this.
Interesting story. Now imagine working for someone you've never met or seen in person. You only see them in magazines, on television and on social media. For the 105 employees at the Pestana CR7 Hotel in Morocco, seeing their employer, football legend Cristiano Ronaldo, in person will be a dream come true. My colleague George Quenin spent some nights at CR7's 4-star hotel and has come through with this report.
One of the highlights of my participation at this year's Gators Africa in Morocco was my accommodation. In my entire life, I've always dreamt of connecting with football superstar Cristiano Ronaldo. But least did I expect that I would indirectly connect with him sooner than I expected. At the first sight of the building, the name CR7 may give a clue, which has the flags of Morocco, Portugal and that of the hotel hoisted. The legendary footballers' record-breaking trophies and honors such as the Ballon d'Or and Golden Boots are displayed in an entry on the left.
I have vision, though I believe. I know I can count on me, so stand up for the champions, stand up.
There are people who stay here to observe that and perhaps record videos and photos. The hotel was recognized as the best new hotel in Africa at the 2022 World Travel Awards after being opened in March. The 105 employees haven't seen their boss, football legend Cristiano Ronaldo, since the hotel was founded. Here's a fun fact.
Here we go, it's getting close. Now it's just.
Honestly, would you have been sincere?
No, you can't get the job. You will get the job because also, it's a tricky question. They want to see if you have a strong personality. So for me, for instance, I am fan of Cristiano and also Messi. So, but here we don't, complicate things. We don't try to say if you're Cristiano or not. But still, a lot of people they come here, either they work or visit because of these legends.
Manager of the room division is Mohamed Askor.
No, we never saw her before. Yes, of course, come on, it's a big dream for us to see Cristiano here. We've seen his mother, his sister and all his friends, but we're still waiting to see him in person. He was supposed to be the beginning of the year, but because of the changes, he was in Manchester, then he went to Saudi Arabia and a lot of up and downs, so now we're still waiting to see him very soon.
What a sight these autograph booths and jerseys are. Ivorian journalist Juliette Abwa raves about her time at the Pistana CR7 Hotel.
Cristiano Ronaldo is my favorite player. When I know I stay with this hotel, so feel good. That is an accomplishment. If you don't see in the physical, come here, you have Cristiano Ronaldo. You sleep with Cristiano Ronaldo, you eat Cristiano Ronaldo.
Dayo Divet is a South African and British investor.
As you enter the entrance, from his boots that are signed right through to his various player jerseys, etc., it's a real spectacle and special. Is it a big deal for me? I think, all things considered, I think it's really great to be part of the story and to experience something which such a significant force in football put together.
Despite not being a huge fan of Cristiano Ronaldo, Rwandan Jacques Loué is impressed with the legend's investment in non-football related businesses.
I noticed in the name CR7, which obviously is directly related with Cristiano Ronaldo. So it's a good surprise, and I would have never known that a footballer like him can do investment like this. So it's quite impressive, actually.
Cristiano Ronaldo is part of some famous footballers, including Rio Ferdinand, Lionel Messi, Clarence Seedorf, Vincent Kompany, who own hotels. As at April 2023, the Portuguese and Al Nassr forward is estimated to be $500 million in net worth. For most workers here, it will be a dream come true should they meet their boss, which is the football legend Cristiano Ronaldo, in person. Well, until then, they can only be watching him on TV, just like myself. George Quinnin, TV3 News, Marrakesh, Morocco.
George, I saw you. I know you've returned. I've seen you. Nice one.
And knowing him, we haven't heard the last of it.
No, we haven't.
He's going to keep talking about that 4-star hotel.
Absolutely. Did you see that jump? That Cristiano Ronaldo jump like that?
Yes. He struggled a bit, but yeah, very interesting one. You're watching News 360. Mission is up next. Please stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Honey, new sabo, and a pot evaporated milk. Tasty and creamy, right?
So.
And a pot milk, custard more a fine. Na so Tom Brown no rice water muswa a nice. Honey, trip now baso. Made the end up mayonnaise. And I'm salad, any burger, fries, and a tasty ketchup. And a good side. Coffee jollof no so made the end up you
long green rice. Oh, you are one.
Don't forget your favorite and a chocolate milk.
Oh, more quite so.
See, honey, you are sorted.
I'm in control like a pilot on Anapa Airways.
Mama, Mama.
Me, you know.
Anapa, I can't stand it.
Just a moment. And now power, huh?
Yeah!
Oh, yeah, Jack Macron, no more. It's you can I can sit there. Hey, you contumre. What up, Kenny? Tomato sauce, I want you, baby. And a pass sardine for box with salad, yeah. Hey, you stew. And a jollofa. Never to the one. That don't know it, though. Up to that. And the ball of ya, or meant to bunny a doa. You want a pass rice sauce? Check for you, sir. Oh, more tasty. And a big beans for the breakfast. La so salad, oh, she and a tuna. We can puffle. La so salad, oh, taste good. And a pan on dairy creamer. 4 box we so can see oats, na creamy tea, no. You and a spaghetti. Talia papa B. Mansunin sijadu re. Nafa and a spaghetti no gum. Wo and a patalia no I ready for what on you with stew. So ya no pa no so kodia.
Inkrati FDA appendo.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
The sweet scent of rose in the morning brings me so much joy. Inspired by damask rose and infused with 100% natural rose oil. Introducing new Clay Soft Perfume Beads Washing Powder. It's like bringing a garden with you everywhere with this wonderful perfume. Take a garden with you everywhere you go with Clay Soft Perfume Beads Washing Powder.
Welcome to Mission. This edition is funded by the United States Agency for International Development from the American people. Safe fish handling is a practice that barely occurs in most fishing communities. Many fishmongers handle fish without taking into consideration proper sanitary measures. In this report, however, my colleague Judith Awachitando visits Abla, who remains one among few fishmongers in the Elmina community ready to change the narrative.
It's a not-so-sunny day here at the residence of Auntie Abla, a well-known fish processor in the Elmina community. She has been doing this for 43 years. Abla has been trained by the USAID to handle fish in a clean, healthy and safe manner, and so she sticks to the rules.
Training me nyam faso. O Sunday metal na me share sisi amiri edwuma no. Me wi a me ye pro na metal no onye fi. Tire apron no be fi na abaho. Metal no be kama. Me so me na so onye fi Sunday. Me na so me shampa bo a. Toye. Me so me teacher mete ama ehwin onko anamunum.
Fish processing here in Elmina is rid with a lot of challenges. Oftentimes than not, fish is processed in insanitary conditions, rendering fish unsafe for consumption. Abla is amongst the few women in this community determined to change the narrative.
Eko ego musisi ano anamo oyin niyem when oyin niyem or when the man Inti ye mona ye dem like this ye niyem no in market ya hoso no ayedin this was 3 weeks 1 month crop and 5 chef regime so a o ye hwenu mum pi wantase ope mo ayekesi odongo obi ho odi ango afafra nam no mo no aye cheap no penti market no ye market juma no nkoni nim papa.
Her facility is fenced to prevent stray animals and pets from entering. She has installed a Veronica bucket with which she ensures her hands are always clean before handling the fish. And then she carefully scrapes the scales off and dresses the fish using a clean knife. Through training, Abla and her workers are keen on what they wear.
If you are smoking too, you don't have to eat and like you use your hand to eat kinky, then you use it to touch the wire. It's not fine. So, and that one too, they said if they bring us fresh fish like this, we have to wear our overall.
With their help, Abla is able to process a good amount of fish. She has ensured the floor on which she works is neatly cemented to allow for frequent washing. Now, it's time for smoking. Unlike many other local fishmongers, Abla has adapted a modern and safer way of smoking fish. This method prevents the fish from being exposed to too much smoke. After the smoking process, Abla packages her fish in a packaging room to prevent processed fish from becoming contaminated. But aside the good health implications of this process, they explain how beneficial safe fish handling is to the growth of their business.
If you want to take your goods to outside place too, you can do it. Because we use these technologies to smoke fish.
I've been here for almost 2 hours trying to observe what it really takes to process fish in a safe and healthy manner for consumption. It might be tiring, but experts say that this is the way to go when it comes to fish processing. Hopefully, other fishmongers might have to learn from Auntie Abla's fish processing methods. Judith Awachitando, TV3 News, Elmina, Cape Coast.
Safe fish, better head. Safe fish, better head. Safe fish,
better health.
Safe fish, better health. Kudos to Auntie Abla for processing fish under hygienic conditions. And this edition of a mission was funded by USAID from the American people. Thank you for watching.
For break times, for party times, for snack times. Anytime is a good time with Munchie Anytime Crackers.
This outfit is FDA.
You just sleep. That's my Madina.
Sentuntum say when na ma de jume ma won sa.
Efle ma be ma gani oba.
Ma won sa. Sentuntum ma abo sumuda ma won sa.
That shall not slap. Having black mosquito quail. Common tontom. Na empum visie bebre. Na emma wo mowa. Na emma wo sham. Na sham.
Having insecticide spray. Sham. Ne sansu kumwa wotu any omo wia nyina. Now having naphthalene balls and having perfumed insect repellent no kumwa warrior nothing just here with
having black mosquito quail empom wisie bebre and say wo hene so sham kama kweno emubu na jumo size no boduma don't shred do me no
and a heaven spray having naphthalene balls ni perfumed insect repellent no kumwa omutu na wa wonam from nothing just here with
heaven dear bakope heaven dear
FDA actually a dread kratoyatum.
The fishing industry in Ghana is of prime importance to the economy and the well-being of the people. Sadly, this critical industry faces a hidden threat that threatens its very existence and survival. Join us as we shine our spotlight on the canker of illegal fishing, a practice that has devastated our marine resources, depleting our fish stock, leaving our fishermen with empty nets, fish processors struggling to survive, and our communities in dire straits. We delve into safe fish handling and processing, certification and licensing schemes. We focus our sharp lenses on child labor and trafficking in fishing communities to demand accountability and responsiveness from duty bearers. Join 3 Foundations advocacy for Ghana's fisheries recovery through missions compelling and captivating advocacy. Keep an eye out on TV3. This program is under the auspices of the Feed the Future Ghana Fisheries Recovery Activity, funded by USAID from the American people, live on News 360 and across all Media General social media platforms.
Segment is brought to you by
Gentleman Cosmetic Range.
It's time for sports here on News 360. I am Aniela Alute. We begin on the domestic front with the Ghana Premier League. Real Tamale United pulled off a remarkable defeat and upset by defeating Accra Hearts of Oak 2-1 at the Accra Sports Stadium. The Phobians are now in danger of relegation. They could be relegated if they lose their last game at Brekum Chelsea and if the teams below them score on and win on the final day.
Otanga to Esso. Now Siraj. Good ball to Linda Mtange. Can they get the opening goal? And Linda Mtange puts the Phobians ahead. Hearts of Oak finally with a breakthrough from Linda Mtange. Here is Mohamed Nuruddin. Good skill from Dankwa. Can they get an equalizer? Good save from Richard Atta, but Manaf has pounced on it and equalized for Real Tamale United. Abdul Manaf Uma has paid the Phobians back in their own coin, scored against them in Tamale, and he's found the equalizer here at the Accra Sports Stadium. Good ball from Nuruddin, but a skill to go past Amankwa Befi by Bedu Dankwa was awesome. Mankuyeli gets this one saved, and Manaf appears, but Kledu Yadom. Kushibo sends the cross. Adesua makes the mistake, and Bedu Dankwa puts RTU ahead. Real Tamale United. This is a shocker. Robert Adesua unable to deal with a cross from Kushibo, and it gladly fell to Bedu Dankwa. He just took one touch.
Proceeding to the Danish Superliga, Ghanaian forward Enes Nuamah has been honored with the prestigious Best Footballer of the Year award in recognition of his outstanding season. Nuamah scored 12 goals and provided 4 assists for FC Nordsjælland this season, and is expected to be included in Morocco. The future looks bright for Nuamah as he continues to make waves in Danish football, showcasing his talent and earning recognition on both domestic and international stages. Heading over now to tennis, Novak Djokovic demonstrated his superior quality to swat aside Peru's Juan Pablo and reach a record 17th French Open men's quarter-final. The Serbian 30 won on the Roland Garros clay and moved ahead of Rafael Nadal to take sole ownership of the last 8 record. Djokovic is also aiming to overtake Nadal by winning a record 23rd Grand Slam men's singles title.
Jeu, 7 match, Djokovic, 3 matchs à 0, 6-3, 6-2, 6-2.
Novak Djokovic.
Moving on to the Spanish Grand Prix, Red Bull's Max Verstappen cruised to a 3rd consecutive victory, his 5th in 7 races to take control of the season. The Dutchman's 40th career victory extended his championship lead over teammate Sergio Perez to 53 points. Verstappen was followed home by Lewis Hamilton and George Russell on an encouraging day for Mercedes.
Lewis Hamilton comes round the final corner for his 11th podium finish at this circuit, and again it's a happy hunting ground for him. P2 on the road, a little punch of the air, and that will be completed with a superb performance for Mercedes. That upgrade working well today. Russell climbs 9 places to the podium positions.
That will be all for sports here on News 360. I am Aniela Alute. Up next is entertainment news.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water and powered by 3 Entertainment.
In entertainment news tonight, Ali and Ruth have been booted out of the Perfect Match Extra reality show. On the eviction night, Jato and Sandra were saved from elimination, securing their continuous stay in the reality house. Here are some highlights.
Ali and Ruth, Jato and Sandra. Now, one of these couples may go home tonight. You are entertaining, you brought drama, and you truly kept us glued to our seats. Jato and Sandra, it's time for you to go back into the Perfect Match Extra house and give us more drama because Ali and Ruth are going home. So Ali and Ruth have their time in the Perfect Match Extra House has come to an end. Ali and Ruth, this is the final time to...
There's a competition and we are all nominated each couple, so it's normal. This shouldn't be end of our life.
I know.
More things ahead, so I think it's normal. Sure.
Say your goodbyes.
And following the eviction of Ali and Ruth, 2 new housemates have been introduced to the Perfect Match Extra reality show, and already they are promising drama.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome our new housemaids, Bibi and Sedo. Welcome to Perfect Match Extra.
Thank you.
What can we expect from you?
Drama.
Ooh. Okay. We like it. If you were not paired with Sedem, who would you think you might be with?
I think I'll pick Kodak.
What can we expect from you, Seti?
Intensity, passion.
Passion.
And extreme stuffs.
Ooh, extreme, we like. Now, you've seen the beautiful ladies. If it wasn't Bibi that you were paired with, who would you have picked?
I think I would have liked to go with Sandra.
And Bibi, I'm excited to tell you that you are not paired. So you are free to find your own love.
It's going to be exciting. I can't tell you much. Just keep watching this reality show. Coming up next is international news.
Senegal's government has cut access to mobile internet services in certain areas because of deadly rioting in which hateful and subversive messages have been posted online. Senegal has been rocked by 3 days of violent protest in which 16 people have died, one of its deadliest bouts of civil unrest in decades. Last week, the government limited access to certain messaging platforms, but many were able to bypass the outage with the use of virtual private networks that mask the location of the user. It extended the outage on Sunday to include all data on mobile internet devices in certain areas and at certain times. India's Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw has suggested a signal fault led to the Odisha rail disaster, with a change in the electronic interlocking the likely cause. India's Railway Board said there had been some kind of signaling interference rather than failure. Meanwhile, officials said the death toll has been revised down to 275 after some bodies were counted twice.
Well, that's it for the very latest in news. My name is Pakwisi Asari. For more news, do also visit our website. It's www.3news.com.
My name is Aisha Yakubu Hali. Date Rush is up next.